Come on. Come on, find it. There we go. Oh, yeah, there we go. Cool. Yeah, hello. Welcome. Kerbal Space Program Science Mode Part 42, which I'm recording today because I wasn't able to do one on Thursday. I'm not going to be able to do one tomorrow night because I'm busy, so I'm going to possibly try doing another one on Tuesday, try and make up for that, and then I'm away for a couple of weeks, so I'll be basically on holiday mode for that time, but yeah, again, hopefully the new version of KSP will drop on the 24th, and then hopefully mods will have updated by the time I actually try and get back into it. So last time we had successfully done a little rover drive on Moho and got some science. We're now looking at trying to take advantage of this Eve transfer window, which is happening in a couple of days. So I'm trying to design a sample, like an unmanned sample return mission to Eve, which, you know, Eve being the most, well, not the, I think it's probably like the most difficult planet to take off from. So trying to build like a rocket that, because like our payload to orbit isn't very heavy, so it should be feasible. Like we're not trying to get like a command module or anything, but I have a feeling I might have to like up the design a bit of the Eve sample return, because at the moment it's like Eve surface, like at the moment, like, you know, it's probably not got enough delta V, to be honest, to get into orbit, so I may have to reconsider this design somewhat, like from the ground up, because yeah, I just like these aerospikes are, you know, they're about equally efficient at any sort of altitude, but they're just not that powerful in terms of TLUR, which given the increase, like the actual thrust they produce, you know, you need a lot of them to, so probably looking for like beefier engines that hopefully work well enough at Eve surface level, because like only the, like, yeah, we only need like decent engines. Once we get above most of the atmosphere, we should be okay. So like, like if we manage to get this top bit out, like out of Eve's atmosphere entirely, then there's about 4,000 delta V in it. I also noticed we don't have any RCS on the top either. No, I think the plan was to have the rendezvous done with yeah, the rendezvous done with the yeah, to have the rendezvous done via the like orbital return module. So basically this would get into a circular orbit, and then the other thing would rendezvous with it, would be the plan. But yeah, so this at the moment is, yeah, I'm assuming this thing doesn't have a join point at the top, does it? No, these kind of things never do. Cool. So yeah, yeah, I don't think this system is really gonna work for us. So take this all off for now. Because again, once we get into vacuum, there's like 3,000 delta V in this stage alone. It's quite surprising. So that should be enough to get us into an orbit, like if we can get a decent apoapsis and get above the atmosphere. So the question is, can we get something that because I think, like, even if we have to build a big rocket, maybe we can build like a lander thing that is, because like we do have TweakScale, so we could build just an absolutely massive rocket to get this entire thing into orbit. Like we're not necessarily limited by the 5-meter parts. So yeah, at the moment I'm thinking if we again, it's going to be like a multi-stage. At the moment I'm wondering if it's worth having like Because again, I feel like 3000 delta V is going to be enough outside the atmosphere to get us into a circular orbit. Because I think, like, yeah, the main thing is getting us out of the atmosphere at the moment. And again, we need, because like the TWR for all of these stages was like not much above 1, which given that, like, you know, you need 1 TWR to that's just fighting gravity, so your acceleration is going to be very low. You're going to be losing a lot of your delta V just to resisting gravity on the way up. So I feel like we need more thrust to weight ratio than this setup is getting us. So then I'm thinking of, like, again, try to make it not too tall, but at the moment, again, because like the taller it is and the higher the higher the center of mass, the more likely it's going to be to tip over when you land. We don't want that to happen. So trying to make it as wide as possible whilst maintaining aerodynamics, etc. is going to be fun. But let's try switching at least to the that is too big. At least switching up to the. Is it that one? Yeah, switching up to the to these fuel tanks. Again, we'll set this to sea level to get the worst. Yeah, atmospheric pressure is 506 kilopascals, whereas on Kerbin, yeah, it's like 5 times the atmospheric pressure, which is kind of ridiculous, but probably likely, probably a reasonable approximation of Venus, because I think Venus's atmosphere is at least 5 times the surface pressure of Earth. It's probably like considerably more. Actually, I can't remember exactly what the numbers are. What have we got in terms of these? Can you filter by radius? Cross-section profile. There we go. So these are the engines. So this is. Again, 1.05. This is not great, is it? 400 kilonewtons. Oh, it's a 374 kilonewtons. Okay, the Mastodon is this size, but what? That's definitely not a 3.5 or 1.8875 meter. I'm guessing if you do oh, I see, like full mid. Okay, so I think a mid thing is like this, but again 707. But oh, okay, that's you got better thrust to weight ratio here. So we can add more more tanks to this. Gives a bit more in terms of delta V. Yeah, okay. This might be more feasible. Because I'm wondering if we make this like a. Yeah, you get 1300, 1.69. But I'm wondering if we can. Asparagus stage this setup. Probably give us a lot better performance. So I'm thinking of, if we go back to sort by function, coupling, grab one of these, put it into 4 symmetries just for the purpose of alignment. Then grab a. Actually, the detachment manifold might be a bit big for this. I think these radial decouplers are probably what we want to go for, but we want to do 2 symmetry, and we'll align it with the top of the rocket, like so. Or that's just 1 symmetry. That is the incorrect number of symmetry. We want 2, like so. Then we want. fuel tanks. And then we want some struts. And we won't do the fuel lines just yet. And we want some aerodynamics. Probably these ones. Oh yeah, these want to go after this. Wires. Oh, I suppose it's only 2 symmetries at the moment. And hopefully we can so I think around about there, isn't it? Yeah, and then trying to select this part here. That works. And some of these I'll do, I think. They're about lined up. Yeah, so now we can go back to place mode. We can remove these. We don't need these anymore. So at the moment we got 1532, 1.942 bar, which isn't too bad. So let's see what asparagus staging will get us. So let's go to fuel. We need to figure out which one to be. So these are the ones going last. So we run these into the central tank, like so, and then we run these across the side tanks. So we get, again, it's not great. You get 445, 809, which is 1200. Then you get another. So look, so 445 with 1.93. Then you get 809 with 1.89. Then 1344, 0.69. So what is that? It's like, oh yeah, let's add some. See if we can't add some, because I think our aerodynamic profile is probably going to be. Yeah, we don't really have one, but some, like, again, with this much atmosphere, some fins are probably going to be in order. Because yeah, like these are going to get reduced by the increased weight and drag. We probably want some separatrons, just to give these things a bit of a kick off, so we don't get any too much damage, hopefully. These want to go off of these. these ones to go with these, hopefully. So, yeah. Duplicate, and then duplicate again. Like so. So yeah, we've got 438, 795, and 1317. Again, these hopefully these numbers will improve as we ascend. I guess you can see how much they'll improve because we can. Okay, yeah. So like once we get to once you get to 10 kilometers. Okay, yeah, that's okay. So well, yeah, 10 kilometers. Like the next stage is already 13. Like we're getting 2,000 delta V of that. Like when we get 20 kilometers. Yeah, I guess by the time we get to about 14 kilometers, you're basically at surface level pressure for Kerbin. So yeah, look, our upper stage is getting considerably better. Again, like, and by the time you get to like say 50, once like 90, you're basically at vacuum. At which point you've got 3,000 at the top. So again, so starting our first stage, 438 meters per second. I don't know how far up that would get you. Maybe like a couple of kilometers. But yeah, so 438, 795 is what, about 1100 plus 1317. It's about 2,500. Again, so it's difficult to like work out roughly like how, like if we prioritize getting up out of the atmosphere and then do our so let's say we prioritize at the first stage getting up to 15 kilometers before we do a gravity turn. Then we're already looking at about we're already looking at 4,000 delta V in the upper stage, that in the second stage. So it's a question of like how far, if basically the first stage we'll prioritize getting as high as possible, then start doing our gravity turn, because the idea is we want to get out of the atmosphere. So we do like a steep thing, and then we get I reckon it's doable. So we aim for like 15 kilometers, just like pretty much straight up. Let's see how far we get. Because at sea level we've got like 2,500, which nowhere near enough. Like maybe we could do an SRB, like an SRB stage under here. I don't know how good the SRBs are though. Is the thing, because it's like, yeah, I mean like these engines are producing thousands of kilonewtons of thrust, whereas like we'd need like Clydesdales, and these guys are huge. I think this is like, actually, I mean, do these guys have thrust vectoring? I think Mastodons have thrust vectoring, don't they? Yeah, 5 degrees of thrust vectoring. Okay. Again, fairly short rocket. I wouldn't mind something a little bit more just to be on the safe side. Because again, this bottom stage we have 1.91 of TWR, so like maybe we can do a like a lower Mastodon stage with actually no, because these Mastodons are presumably quite heavy. Yeah, these are like 5-ton engines, so I imagine like a lower Mastodon stage probably won't even have enough TWR to get off the ground. We could try it. See what it looks like. So yeah, basically a case of adding like 18 decouplers to I do love how like the engine shroud has a hang on. Excuse me. Sneeze for a minute. I do like how the engine shroud is a 2.5 meter size, even though the engine is in like a smaller configuration. I feel like that's going to cause problems if we try and stage it. Unless we just disable. Can we disable the shroud? Yes, it's just. Maybe we can get a bit of extra with some SRB. Like I don't know if the SRBs can even which ones can even lift their own weight. Because again, like you got these ones where they're tall. I don't necessarily want a tall rocket. Get a bit of extra delta V out of this. Again, I think like the center of mass of these things is quite low down, so which is kind of what we want. Yeah, let's actually, yeah, we'll see what this. I'm gonna have to might disable the engine shroud for all of these because this looks a bit weird. But yeah, if we hit these 18 decouplers and just stick them on the bottom here. Wait, what? What are those? No, wait, none of these are in the right stage. Hang on. Right, let's make sure these are all the right stage. So we have these guys going along with those, and again, should be fine. Okay, right. So all these engines, we don't want all of these engines going at once. We want, actually no, we do want these decouplers and these engines going at once, because well, let's just like see what the I keep forgetting this is a thing. Because I mean, like, pretty much guaranteed this won't have enough to get off the ground, but maybe. Okay. Just there we go. Again, Mastodon. Mid. Yeah, 1.12. So these would just be let's say 1.91. I wonder if we can stick a little bit more fuel and maybe just some maybe because again, like up here we've got like 1.86. Again, that's pretty okay. 1.67 TWR, and those are going to go up as we get higher up. So maybe it's just a case of adding a little bit more fuel into the this lower stage. So that's not all. Just moving these up for now. No, that's what I wanted. So we're just going to do some stuff to these bottom ones. Right, so I'm thinking of just move these for a second because we're gonna replace these bottom ones with slightly longer. So take these. Take this. Take these. Swap them out for the longer fuel tanks here. Then let's see what these are like. So 1.55, so that's 1.5 is okay. Yeah, so we get a little bit more there. So we get about 3,000 delta V, and then presumably when we get to vacuum, that's about 9,000. So that hopefully should be enough. Yeah, so let's move this stuff back down to the bottom of these side boosters. These ones go into the middle, I think. Yeah, because these are the last ones to go, so these ones should feed into the middle. These ones should feed across, like so. Let's bring the Septrons down. So should hopefully bring this down again so that yeah, so we've got fins at the bottom. Again, you kind of want these to not intersect the fin, so to do that. Okay, so go 479 meters per second, then 885, then 1500, and then hopefully as we kind of climb in altitudes at 10 kilometers, yeah, that becomes considerably more. 15 kilometers, we've got 6,000, 30 kilometers, yeah, like by about 30 kilometers of pretty much getting to our towards our 9k delta V. So I think this might be able to do the job. Essentially what I'm thinking. So now, if we grab this stuff, because this is all now defunct. Ooh, Stoops there. God, this is hover over here for a second. I want to get rid of it. There we go. Right. So now we want to attach this to what essentially is going to be a landing and takeoff rig, or like a descent rig. So this thing currently weighs in at 133 tons. So I have no idea how many parachutes we're going to need. I'm going to my plan at the moment is to build to do a test rig. So I will build like the landing system and we'll test it on Kerbin, and kind of assume that if it works on Kerbin, it'll work on Eve. Because Eve's got higher gravity, but Eve has a lot more atmosphere, so there's gonna be a lot more drag. So yes. Yeah, so let's get those. Well, let's get that decoupler, because like you're gonna be able to attach via one decoupler, like so. Again, this will go at the same time as all of this. We now build a landing rig, which will hopefully have our science experiments in as well. So at the moment, I'm thinking if we get a do interstage nodes for this. I want to attach this like there, with the hope of like putting our science equipment in here. I'm thinking. Again, the problem with having the science equipment in the yeah, I think turn it off and just attach it straight. We will disable the fairing stage, because I don't think we're actually going to be using this to actually build a fairing. Although we will expand it out just so we can see how wide we can go with the So if we do this and then terminate fairing construction there, so just we have an idea of how wide we can build our base before the fairing won't enclose it. So basically we want something that's we want a central structure that will rise up around it and attach to the top section, and then we want as wide as we can get away with splashdown / landing platform, which will then have the so I'm thinking at the moment either structural pieces or empty fuel tanks. I think for the again, because we want buoyancy, I'm thinking of empty fuel tanks. So something like this, and then we structural. We want a radial docking attach point. Where they've gone. No, it's up here, isn't it? Yeah. Radial attachment point. We kind of want these to go up so 4 of these, which will be the attach points for are essentially like our radial sections essentially. I'm thinking of the max multi-point connector. Might be the easiest way of yeah, because then we can attach. Yeah, so I'm thinking we can attach like our ring of fuel tanks around the outside. Yeah. Actually, I'm wondering if it's worth grabbing a structural tube. It's like a T12 structural tube, just so we no. Like so. Make it slightly longer, then we attach these to the outside. So again, we still have a fair bit of leeway. Again, I'm wondering because we could attach. I'm wondering if we can attach the where's the Rockomax brand adapter? Attach these to the bottom. Attach our thermal. So attach our 10-meter heat shields here. Inflate them. And then space these so that they actually meet in the middle. Well, having said that, we can add another one at the bottom. So I'm thinking like that's basically our entry heat shielding, for which we want to be able to jettison like these entire things. So these will hopefully just fall away once we're under parachutes. So these, like, jettisoning these shouldn't be too difficult, but this is kind of like the idea I'm thinking. I think, yeah, so actually I think because so I think this is probably a because like uninflated the I think these will fit actually, so I think this may well be our base essentially, hopefully, assuming it's strong enough. We can strut things up just to make sure. But yeah, before we do anything else, we do want to make these. I mean, you can jettison these, but I want to add decouplers to the bottom here, so that we and similarly with this, we want a TD25 decoupler here. Like so. These will all go at the same time. And this is basically our launch. So yeah, so hopefully when inflated, these will come outside, obviously, but yeah, cool. So we've got our tubes, we want some more fuel tanks, so I'm thinking of getting some again emptying all of these so that we have hopefully some buoyancy. Some 1.875 meter fuel tanks. go, they're near the yeah, so so hopefully this will be enough of a thing to actually like act as buoyancy. Again we'll test this on Kerbal, but hopefully we'll add like a load of struts as well as to so how do we make this more structurally sound? Yep, and then we want to include try and include our like surface science on this section here. Then we build essentially like a launch frame up to the top, which will then be where our parachutes are stored, hopefully. Again, I have no idea how structurally sound this is. This might require some a lot of auto strutting, but again, oh yeah, the corner. Yes, oh, the corner pieces are going. The corners are going to be coming outside the diameter of the fairing, which is going to be a problem. So it may be required to shorten these a bit, maybe a bit more. There you go. So that would have the whole thing like hopefully fit within the fairing. You got some weird. These are kind of like clipping into each other now, which is not great. Maybe there. It might be time to swap these for some shorter ones, maybe. Do these actually it's difficult to tell actually. I think these now cross into each other, don't they? So maybe we don't need the bottom one. Yeah, I think they do. So we just need the 4 heat shields, I think, rather than the 5. Again, I'd like to be... I think I'll probably be okay with a bit of part clipping. Again, we're not actually putting fuel or anything. These are just empty tanks, so I mean it's not super ridiculous, the idea of them clipping into each other. Again, the only thing we're kind of there we go. But yeah, because we're not putting take the fuel out before we do anything else. So yeah, this would be the so the center of mass is here. So long as it doesn't tilt to the point where that center of mass comes over one of these things, it should be fine, or at least buoyant. And again, we can put landing legs on in case we do come down over land, but we'll aim for water. Again, let's just put some struts in. So we do want to like strut these together because they are supposed to be like physically attached. Okay, let's hope that's structurally sound enough. Let's just stick some chunky landing struts on anyway. Yeah, just in case we do come down over land. We still need to attach science to these things, so I'm thinking maybe if we again, it's just not quite. It's not quite. It's kind of debatable whether this is going to fit inside the 5-meter fairing, especially with the landing legs on. I think it's the landing legs on the move these further in, so they're not quite on the extremities. So maybe it's more feasible that way. Yeah, I reckon that's more doable. Right, so we just still need to find somewhere to attach some science equipment to this thing. So we've got this is going to be our splashdown, our landed or splashdown science stage. So essentially the idea will be that we attach our reusable science experiments to this, and then 2 sets of our non-reusable. Yeah, so I think we can delete this fairing. We don't need it at the moment. So yes, science experiments. So we have resettable ones. These are rebuttable, resettable, collectible data. The Science Junior is not rerunnable, but it is resettable. So I think rerunnable is the one where, like, if you need a scientist so if it's not rerunnable, it means it's you need a cleanup requires cleanup cost. So this one and the science laboratory. Anyway, I'm being distracted. So we want to try launching one of those at some point. $2,000 data storage. Anyway, okay, continuously. So, rerunnable. I think this only works. I don't know if this works if you're splashed down. I wouldn't have thought it would. but we'll take one anyway. Again, we don't need four. We don't need four of these. These are rerunnable, so we're just going to stick these around the. Like around the base of the thing. Thermometer. Gravioli. We don't. Do we install a barometer? No, we don't have a barometer yet. So we need a barometer. Which is, where is it? There it is, barometer. How many of these do we have? We've got like, I think we have like 6 of them. No, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think, yeah. Bit of an odd number, so again we can probably just put them all in one place because I mean these aren't very heavy and it'll be easier to log in and collect everything from and we're going to be hopefully doing this with and where's the thermometer is that? No. On there maybe. Of course, these are all our rerunnable stuff. Then we need a couple of science juniors. So I'm thinking if we stick it in here, stick one here. Actually, we can probably just do this with 2 symmetry, can't we? So 2 symmetry. Let's merge them in towards the thing because these fuel tanks are empty, so it's not too ridiculous to do that. And then 2 of these. There we go. We also want to stick some solars on the bottom here, because so we might as well stick some batteries, and can we grab some these might help, like, I'm thinking of just sort of, you know, giving a bit of control input in terms of if we can use these to keep us from tipping over, then all the better. We want some solars. And again, I feel like you just get some of just these bad boys. I don't see them needing to really, like, deploy them or anything. Then hopefully these should be shielded. Alternatively, we can just get the single-use deployable ones. Because I don't know if these will explode on reentry, on entry heating. We can add these as a backup. Again, getting this. Nope. This way. Again, getting these things into this thing into orbit around Kerbal is going to be fun. This thing now weighs 165 tons. Again, the majority of that is rocket. So I guess if we do action groups at the moment. So action groups, my plan at the moment is in the default action group for custom 1 to be can I remove these from symmetry so that we only select one of them? Can I remove? Okay, there we go. Right, so that one, collect all. Custom 2 for this one, collect all. Then we shall have our we shall have for custom 5, which, you know, for these I think custom 5 and the default will run all of the resettable ones. So if we run atmosphere analysis, log seismic data, log gravity data, log pressure data, log temperature. Actually, what we do, there were some other science friends, because we had this thing, which is like a gas mass spectrometer, which appears to be a experiment of its own. Liquid, log oceanic data. We are planning on splashing down, so I feel like maybe we should add these in, but not with a 4 symmetry, just 1 symmetry, because I think these are rerunnable as well. So if we add that and we add the liquid one, we can get even more science. So again, action groups. Let's see if we can bind these to an action group. Log atmospheric data. Log oceanic data. So this is us. Yeah. Then we have. So set 1 will be. Oh, I have caps lock on for some reason. High atmosphere. Set 2 will be low atmosphere, and then this will be landed. So in the landed thing, custom 5 will run these experiments as well. Then yeah, I think that's all of those. So back to build. So yes, this will be our science rig, which we then hopefully collect all the data up in top here, and then we blast off. It's probably worth adding a communication dish to this thing, so we have better communication rate with a. Yeah, that works, because like the side things will hopefully detach and blast away after we land. So let's save what we have. It's looking big. How many parts are we on? We are on 200 parts already, and this is just like we haven't even got to the joy of building the parachute rig yet. So we want decouplers, because we want to we will want these are going to be like our towers up to the top of the rig, which again will be interesting to actually construct, because yeah, I'm wondering if there's a way we can blag that, Or I guess the top of the rig might not have like a core. Like it might just be a yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. So the idea is, I think what we'll do is we'll basically build our rig up, and then to one end, and then hopefully they all sort of connect up to each other, and they break into four, and we put in things to like blast them apart. Hopefully. So again, structural, these things they have a little mass, of as much structural integrity as possible. Long. Again, not a lot. On this thing we need a... this will probably do... about right. They do sort of face inwards, don't they? Okay, we're not really going for buoyancy here. We're going for like hopefully structure. Quite, is it? Slightly annoying. Maybe I can... I don't know. Oh, it kind of works. Bit janky, but yeah, it might do. Yeah, this looks fine. That's right, but yeah, it's kind of... these are just a bit the wrong length, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah, unless we just do what's this? There we go. But that's make this meet. We make this long as well. They do kind of intersect with each other, but you know, can't have everything you want. Maybe we can make this a little bit nicer with something aerodynamic, like. so then we get some structure. Target on 1407. Yeah, then we. Where's the structure? There we are. Strut connectors. Let's strut these up. No, let me strut you. Stop it. It does not like these. No, it doesn't like this at all. Okay, maybe we can strut it from, there we go. Okay, we can strut it from further back. No. So these is going to be our, I guess we can strut underneath as well actually. So yeah, I guess we can probably strut the top side of the rocket to this as well, like so. And again, we can probably lots of strutting essentially. Lots of struts. Well, not lots of struts, but just like enough struts, just to keep things, hopefully keep things intact and stable. So, oh no, stop it. Cool, right, so hopefully this will keep the general rocket in place when we actually come into land. Oh, we can actually strut to the engines as well, that's useful. So, obviously we'll be staging these, which will require, I guess we can stick some, probably like the first time I've used the flea solid booster in a while. Yeah, so these go, these fire, hopefully like this just like blasts the entire contraption away. We still have a whole load of parachutes, so we need to attach heat shields up here so that yeah, we still need to do the, how many parts are we on now? We're on nearly 300 parts, and this is, yeah. So we add a DD12 decouplers here. We still need to add the non-repeatable science experiments to this section as well, and parachutes. So we add this one. We add the. So this is going to be the more fun one because where's our Rockomax? There it is. Because these ones are going to need to be like launched away, so I'm thinking of a structural tube here where we can attach our boosters, and then we also attach the heat, like upper heat shield. So the idea is that we inflate all of these. Like so. And then these basically form a mirror drag profile to this, so hopefully this thing won't go flipping over in on entry into his atmosphere, is the idea. But then we need to get rid of these hats, so we need to like, and the problem is that we're going to be falling, so when we detach these, there's every chance that these things will have like, I wish I got, well, so, like, we want to make sure these go up and away essentially. So at the moment I'm thinking of attaching mites, which are actually quite big. which would go at the same time as these. Again, this will happen in the upper in the lower atmosphere, we think. So 2 pushing up, hopefully lined up. Let's do local so that we can squeeze them in a little. Like so, and then we want an additional one to hopefully push them away, which is going to be a... Again, this could go horrendously wrong when all said and done. But so yes, we want this one in the middle. We want to rotate it such that it maybe kind of like that, so that it again contributes some up, but then some like away as well. That would be the idea. See, that goes, then we ditch the thing, to which we now need to sort out the parachute. So this is like the initial reentry stage. To which we need to add, again, this entire thing is full symmetry, so we might just have to accept having more things we need on it. Oh, that's actually what we can do is we can remove them from symmetry, can't we? So let's sort out our parachutes first and foremost. So I want some structural. I want probably one of these, which we will place halfway down these tubes, like so. These will be our so for utility, these are going to be our XL parachutes. Which are going to be going in a separate stage, but after we need it to go stage 6. No, we need it to be at stage 6. So these are going to be our regular chutes, for which we've got 4. We've got 8 of the big ones. We're going to need a lot more though. So pop this in the same stage. Of those ones. I'll probably stick some on here as well. That might get destroyed by the by this thing, but so that's what 8 huge ones, like 16. Actually, want to move these further away from the mites if we can. Again, we have no idea if this actually will be enough, because this thing's going to be 200 tons when it lands. So landing 200 tons under parachutes is going to be fun. But let's go with Again, I do want to kind of attach a big drogue chute. The question is where to. Let's just go with. Okay, so these all want to be in there. These want to be in their own separate thing. But we want just so many of them. Like, probably want one set of drogues for each. Or like 2 sets of drogues for each main chute. Again, I have no idea if this is going to be enough or too many or what, but again, we'll try and do a Kerbal test of this thing. And we still need to add some. What is this? 205 tons. Lots of drogues, lots of thingies. I don't think there's any reason why we can't attach the atmospheric components to these stalks, actually. So if we go to the science thing, that's communication, not science. We want science. Science juniors. Let's actually place them so that they're kind of centrally, not quite there. There we go, roughly. We merge them into the thing like that because these are empty. We then remove that one from symmetry. Remove that one from symmetry, and we can just detach these. So we have 2. We do the same with these ones, so oh no, actually we do want 4 because yeah, because we need 2 sets for we need 2 sets for each of high and low, don't we? So let's I think that's actually right. Then yeah, move these in. Like so. Again, like pick 2 to remove from symmetry. Like so. So these will conduct our atmospheric science on the way down, hopefully. I will sort out the action groups for this now. We'll save as well. So high atmosphere, we'll do the ones that are in symmetry. So hopefully these 2 will conduct material study, and these 2 will observe mystery goo. And then in low atmosphere, this one will conduct material study. This one will observe mystery goo. This one will conduct material study. And this one will observe mystery goo. And the liquid, let's go back to the because this one's only really going to work when landed, so it would make sense to put this in the splashdown stage. This is our liquid one. Log oceanic data there. Okay. I feel like it might be able to stick big drogue chutes on the side here. Like these bad boys, put these on the side. See if we can actually get them to stick. Right, these are drogues. We've got these in action group 7 in stage 7. I don't like the clearance there of these things. So that'll do. Let's save. So we have something that can hopefully land on Eve and then take off again. Lord knows how we're going to get this thing into space, because like at the moment we need to, like, because this thing is already 200 tons and this is just the landing stage, so like, we might have to launch them separately, because I was hoping to like put this and our like Kerbal return module in the same like big old rocket, but this thing is going to require a fair bit of wait, no, because we were going to do atmospheric capture, weren't we? Aerobraking. So, which again we can probably use the top section for. I think that was the plan. Let's double check what my actual like plan was here. Yeah, we were going to have RCS on the top. Then again, the RCS won't be useful once we actually, because the RCS tanks are going to be in the transfer stage, are going to be in the orbital stage. Okay. So let's see if we can. So command and control. Maybe not that one. Okay. I do feel like I want a something of a reasonable communication thing, because we can't really extend this one until we're out of the atmosphere, so I'm wondering if it's worth sticking a 16S on the side here, just so we have hopefully some, because again this is going to be unmanned. So I'm kind of hoping we can achieve some level of communication with because hopefully we're going to have satellites in orbit, so we have some communication ability. You can imagine what this would be like if we're trying to land like a Kerbal carrying rocket on Eve. Right, so we have this thing. I do kind of want, so I think like initially I'm going to try and get this thing with a into orbit of Kerbin, just this thing on its own at the moment, just so we can test it out. So we need actual action group. Again, if we go to the high atmosphere, so if we high atmosphere, so this is going to be our action group we're going to be in when we enter the atmosphere. So if we have this, like we go into this one before, then we can have action group 9, say, inflate our heat shields. So action group 9 will be heat shield inflation. Landed, action group 10 will be to toggle the antenna. I might as well extend these once we're down as well. Alright, so save. We will need a large decoupler. A large structural tube. Just to get it so that our payload fairing can come out around. Payload. I have a feeling we're going to need a catamaran launch system. I honestly don't know how we're going to actually attach one. Because I'd be surprised if this thing actually gets into orbit intact. Like, I mean, this top thing is going to be so heavy, like it's probably just going to fall right off. Guess we'll find out if we could even get this thing into orbit. Let's just see what we can do with the let's switch this to Kerbin vacuum. See what 6x1 can do with. Is it even? I think this thing is like 300 tons, so we're gonna need something beefy. In vacuum 375. Again, but I go straight for the mainsail, like. 6 meters per second of delta V. But again, we can get a larger fuel tank. We do need a monoprop tank as well somewhere. Probably not a lot, but you know, enough. Guess probably want some. Because again, probably like very little in terms of like attitude control at the moment. Okay, we've got 1,000 meters per second delta V there. You know, probably more if we actually activated all the engines. That's in vacuum, less than sea level. So let's just like be under no. I think we're gonna need one of these. Like, oh yeah, this needs to be like medium long. Yeah. Let's just go straight for the Saturn V bottom bit. And in terms of engines, like, so each of these is 1,000, so we need something that's more like, again, 1,200. These have 1,300 at sea level. So it's probably going to be these. Make them bare mount so they look a bit more reasonable. T-bar is probably less than 1, yep, 1304 meters per second with a 0.87. What's the burn time on this thing? It's going to be 122 seconds. So we need to be able to get it into orbit and then, actually we could do it suborbital, but I'd like to be able to try and land it in the water if I can. But it should be long enough to attach some pretty gnarly SRBs. Thoroughbred. I don't know if it's Clydesdales. I think the Thoroughbreds. Clydesdales might fit actually. need to like really lower them down. As far down as they'll go, and then move this to the point where these are actually like close to the that'll probably do. Let's add the aerodynamics. Clydesdales are like full on. This one? Yep. We want struts. Again, to what? It's about 3000 delta V. Again, not necessarily amazing. On account of the fact that, like, yeah, you want 3,400 ideally, and I want enough left in the tank at the end to be able to deorbit it as well. But again, I guess I mean, like, even if we are suborbital, maybe we can suborbital. Yeah, maybe we can like suborbital our way to an attempted re-entry, because like some of them are going at approximately orbital velocity. Let's add some wings, some fins. Gotta get some fins, and yeah, some we want separatrons. We want mites, I think. Should be fine. I mean, these should fall away from the Again, I have no idea how this is going to even like. I'll be surprised if this thing actually launches without hitch. Because in theory, this should be easily enough to launch from Kerbin, land on Kerbin, and then launch from Kerbin again. Which is essentially what we're trying to do here. So we load this down to the ground, we can at least make an attempt at a test launch in the last like 20 minutes and see how far we get. Again, I'll be incredibly surprised if we have a decent yeah. save what we have so far. So the idea is that like we probably end up extending this section because we need to add in a few more, like a couple more stages to this, like with the transfer stage, etc. Before we even talk about getting it into orbit. So it may be an absolutely humongous. Like, it might even be like too much for my computer to handle to launch it. So it might be a case of like launching each component separately. So because I mean, like launching the like return trip like thing to sort of dock in Eve orbit will be a lot easier than this. So yeah, I think we can give this thing a go. Again, like maybe we get into orbit with enough to deorbit ourselves. Maybe we don't. But we, you know, yeah, whatever. Like, even if we end up suborbital, we want to re-enter anyway. So I mean, like, we won't get to pick our landing spot, which is a bit annoying because I want to aim for the ocean. But yeah, that's assuming this thing doesn't just like explode horribly on launch, which it may well do because. Let's face it, this is yeah, it might be worth sticking an action group in to control from here. Just so we have the ability to do that. So, yeah. Let's see it. Let's try this. Like, how many parts are we on now? Like, okay, 495. I think this is probably one of the largest ones you've ever actually tried to launch. So, let's go back to the thing. I'm pretty sure the staging is fine. I think I didn't check, but I'll double. Okay, it is dark. We have still got 1 day for our. Okay, so this is basically like our attempt. If this doesn't work, then we're gonna get one more try, and we're just gonna have to test it on Eve. But we will fast forward to morning. Pop back into the VAB for a second. Give it a few minutes to load in the craft. Okay, right. So staging. All of the engines go and the fizz go. Then we jettison the SRBs, then we jettison the first stage, then we jettison the payload fairing, assuming the contents haven't fallen out by that point. Then we, yeah, and then essentially it's a case of we deploy all of these. We then hopefully jettison the top ones. Then we. Oh wait, that's not right. We want to be disconnecting this before we do re-entry. So we're going to be jettisoning this stage before re-entry. Then we do the thing, and we do all of these drogue shoots. Then we do all of these parachutes. Then we do this thing, which will hopefully disconnect the 4 towers from everything, leaving our thing here. These are dropping the. These want to go after parachutes before we drop the. Yeah, these want to go after parachutes, but before we drop the towers, because the towers are after we've landed. We then launch this rocket, which then jettisons first stage, and then we have this thing we hope that gets into orbit. Right. Okay, so I'll be honestly surprised if this works first time. Let's try it. Again, there shouldn't be any room for Kerbals on here, but still make sure. Yep, cool. Right. Hold on to your collective butts, because again, I will be honestly surprised if this thing even gets out of the atmosphere. Like, I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna just horrendously explode on launch, because I think like the payload may not be well enough secured. Yeah. Like, I'm hoping I put enough struts on it. But we'll see. Again, I'm not using auto strut, which might be my mistake. Like, it might be time to start using auto strut if I'm doing these bigger builds, but we shall see. Alright, okay, looks like we've got our craft has loaded in. Eventually. There we go. Right, so we want to turn landing guidance off. Where is our vessel? There we go. So I mean, like, we probably want full-on throttle, because at the moment we're at 1.38 TWR, which is about like the minimum you kind of want for launch. So yeah, let's see what happens. Before we do anything else, let's again, I have no idea when to actually start doing a gravity turn with this payload. I'm going to do a great gradual one after about a kilometer, maybe. We are managing to push our apoapsis away from us, but it's still not very high. We kind of want to slow down our engines, because like, we are still not, we're like a minute away from our apoapsis. Like, we're more than a minute away, so we do want to be and we don't actually know if we can. Okay, so we can still increase our practically out of here. Whoops. What was that? Oh dear, that did not go well. I think we collided with some pieces of the fairing, and we are very much rotating beyond our ability to okay, I think we probably just need to like okay, it's a bit wobbly. Doesn't even get up to like approaching orbital velocity. Okay, let's see if we... I don't even have the ability to rotate. So we're going to be re-entering in a minute, so let's just try and do re-entry and see if we can land. Like, we've lost 2 of our things, so this isn't great, but let's see if we can't get ourselves retrograde before we let's just point this way. Alright, so the next thing should be that. Let's see if we can't point or get ourselves pointing retrograde in time. We switch to high atmosphere. Again, we're missing, so we're not going to be particularly stable in terms of our thing. If we hit 9 now, we should at least get some what does this think our okay, it thinks our landing point is an ocean, which at least will work for us, hopefully. But again, we're not going to be aerodynamically stable because we've lost a bunch of But again, I just want to see if this thing works in principle. I mean, this isn't great, but we just need to make sure we're not we don't accelerate into our own fairing pieces. We need to give them time to drift away before we do. Yeah. So the question is, can we land this thing and then launch it again? Because in theory, if this thing can take off from Eve, it can take off from Kerbal. So again, the question is, will this even work? Actually, we can test, what is it, 5? Let's hit 1. Yeah, this is a... This ain't great. Oh yeah, because the top isn't as draggy as the bottom, so we're getting dragged this way, which is ain't great. Lost something. Okay. We might be in a. We might be a lot. We might be. This might be salvageable. I mean, we can theoretically deploy our parachutes from here. So the question is, why are these fine to deploy and not these? Right. Okay. So let's try this. Okay. Not great. We have look at this thing. This is ridiculous. Like it is. It does appear to be a. We do appear to have lost one of our rockets. I also didn't configure any of the. It's just a huge pendulum now. Doody doody doo. I mean, we're not going to launch this thing from Okay, so we have some notes. So our surface speed at the moment is, and bear in mind we've lost a lot of our parachutes, so see what our surface speed goes down to, like, okay, 12. Again, with more parachutes I think this might be alright, so let's try this. So now we have will hopefully be a thing which will again, I feel like we don't have a bit of SAS control either. Look at it spin. I think that's just bouncing off the surface of the water, isn't it? So it's 11.8 meters per second. So again, a splashdown it might be okay, but I would be surprised if this thing. We'll see if it's like because like the bottom is pretty much intact, so we can see if it remains stable in the water, or if it's just going to tip over. And again, because this thing is actually off center, like it has a weird center of gravity now, so. Okay, that was shall we say less successful than I was hoping. It looks like the so we definitely need a lot lower impact speed, otherwise this thing just comes apart. Again, we were missing like a lot of our parachutes. It's interesting that the landing legs seem to float. and the engines seem to float. Like I would have thought rocket engines would sink if anything. But yeah, it's been recover vessel. Let's go back to the Space Center because it's now gone 3 o'clock. So I don't have very high hopes for this thing working on Eve. I'm going to be honest. But we don't really have enough time before the Eve transfer window to really like iterate. So like I'm gonna have to try and think up, like make some mental notes as to exactly what went wrong. So we have the so things have started going a bit wrong with the with accelerating into our own fairing when we got rid of it. So we ended up losing a bunch of we lost like half of our upper heat shields. So when we re-entered, essentially, yeah, we re-entered the atmosphere with an uneven drag profile. So I think so. Essentially, like it kind of stabilized, like side on. We lost a few components due to overheating. Like if that happens on Eve, pretty much the ship's gone. Because we were sideways. I think partially because we were going sideways when we launched the when we tried to jettison the upper state, like jettison the heat shields. We lost a load of components and very much like a good third of our parachutes. And then when we actually like splashed down, we were going a little bit too fast, and like the entire thing came apart. So main notes are probably need more SAS attitude control. We just don't have enough, so we need to add some more control wheels to it. We need. I don't think we can deploy it would make sense to deploy parachutes through the upper heat shield. So, like I need to. Again, I think those rocket engines going so close to things is just causing things to go wrong. So. I'm not exactly sure what to do about those. Like we have to jettison them, but we have to jettison them. Yeah, I feel like maybe like it might work better if they're jettisoned as we are traveling, like retrograde through the atmosphere. So that might be okay, and then hopefully enough parachutes survive to. Yeah, so I think more SAS control and don't repeat that fairing mistake. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to try and get that thing to Eve. So it's going to be a case of building it with yeah. So we're going to be adding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the yeah. I'm going to add the like an extra like aero braking step because we're going to try and aero capture at Eve. Is the plan. So yeah, hopefully we'll okay. We'll try and send that. We'll send the comnet, so at least we do something successfully at Eve. And then we, like I guess, yeah. And I guess we can send the orbital science stuff with the return module, so that that doesn't even go into the atmosphere. Yeah, it sounds like it probably, and we should, yeah. I think that's what we'll do. So. We'll do that next time though, because it's now gone 3 o'clock. It's been more than 2 hours, so it is time for me to finish this, and then hopefully, yeah, like I might be around Tuesday evening. But yeah, definitely not available tomorrow night. So I might do a stream Tuesday evening. If not, then it won't be anything until like a couple of weeks time. So yeah, hopefully everyone who's absolutely gripped by my suddenly what's the term? Expanding the envelope of what I'm trying to do in Kerbal, like beyond what I'm actually comfortable doing. So yeah, it's all going to be a learning experience. But yeah, go and save game and quit to main menu because I save it and then I forget that I saved it, or I'm not sure that I saved it, and then yeah. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, etc., etc. And then we'll yes, try and get stuff off to Eve, and the next thing I think is the Juno return window comes up, so we can try and get Jeb and the lads back from Juno, which will be the first like return from an interplanetary mission, because we currently have 3 interplanetary missions on, like manned interplanetary missions on in various stages. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be the first time we've actually got Kerbals back from another planet as well, which would be nice. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time, cheerio.